The village of Hollow Creek was a place time forgot. Nestled deep in the countryside, it was a cluster of weathered stone houses huddled around an ancient moss-covered church. The lanes were narrow and twisting, often swallowed by encroaching brambles. The villagers kept to themselves, their faces etched with the weariness of generations past. Few ventured beyond the outskirts of Hollow Creek. Fewer still dared to visit the imposing stone house that loomed at the edge of the village, its windows like vacant eyes staring out at the world. The house had stood empty for as long as anyone could remember. Locals whispered tales of its troubled past, of a young bride who had vanished within its walls, leaving behind only silence and unanswered questions. They said her name was Eleanor, a name now uttered with a hushed reverence, a reminder of the darkness that clung to the village like morning mist. Eleanor had arrived in Hollow Creek, a picture of youthful optimism. Her laughter had echoed through the empty halls of the old house, a stark contrast to the oppressive silence that usually reigned. She had thrown open the heavy shutters, letting sunlight chase away the shadows that clung to the corners. For a brief, fleeting moment, it had seemed as if life might return to the house on the hill. But the house had other plans. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long fingers of darkness across the village, the whispers began. At first they were faint, like the rustle of leaves outside her window. But night after night they grew louder, more insistent, winding their way into Eleanor's dreams, twisting her sleep into a tangled web of fear. She heard footsteps padding along the hallway outside her room, felt the icy breath of something unseen brush against her cheek. Sobs, mournful and filled with a deep aching sadness, seemed to seep from the very walls themselves. Driven by a desperate need to understand, Eleanor began to explore the house. She ventured into the dusty attic, its air thick with the smell of decay and forgotten memories. Cobwebs hung like ghostly shrouds from the rafters, and the only light came from a single cobweb-strewn window. It was there, in a far corner, hidden beneath a moth-eaten tapestry, that she found the portrait. The woman in the portrait was strikingly beautiful, her eyes a piercing blue that seemed to follow Eleanor's every move. She wore a dress of dark velvet, its richness a stark contrast to the pallor of her skin. But it was her face that held Eleanor captive, for it was a mirror image of her own. As Eleanor stared at the portrait, she felt a chill run down her spine, a sense of dread so profound that it took her breath away. The whispers seemed to intensify, swirling around her like a malevolent wind. They spoke of a woman named Adeline, a woman wronged, a woman full of anger and despair. Night after night, the whispers tormented Eleanor, weaving a tale of betrayal and heartbreak. They spoke of Adeline, a young bride like Eleanor who had lived and died within the walls of the house. Her husband, they hissed, had been a cruel man, his heart as cold as the stone walls that now imprisoned Adeline's soul. He had driven her to madness, they whispered, and in the end she had taken her own life. Eleanor's laughter was silenced, replaced by a haunted look in her eyes. She wandered the halls of the house like a ghost herself, her once bright spirit slowly dimming. Then, one cold morning, she was gone. The villagers found a note, its edges stained with tears, pinned to the front door. "Adeline forgives me," it read, the words a chilling echo of the whispers that now haunted the house. The house on the hill remained empty, a testament to the tragedy that had unfolded within its walls. But the whispers remained a constant reminder of the two brides, forever bound to the house in Hollow Creek.